viewers, greetings and welcome to this episode of Leadership Matters, a video series highlighting the stories and experiences of global leaders and providing leadership advice. The series is hosted by Avinash Ananda, a recognized leadership advisor, happiness strategist, and a motivational keynote speaker. Over the course of more than 30 years, Avinash has personally mentored more than 1,000 leaders and trainers and trained more than 1 million individuals from all walks of life in 30 countries. Our special guest for today's episode is Sonali Singh, Deputy General Manager at Tata Motors. With over a decade of experience in the field of marketing and branding, Sonali Singh has established herself as a leading expert in the industry. She has worked with some of the biggest names in the business, including HCL Infosystems Limited, Panasonic India, Deloitte, and BSH Home Appliances Group. In her previous role as the head of brand and digital strategy at BSH Home Appliances India, she has played a crucial role in the company's success, launching new product categories for Bosch and Siemens and helping the organization navigate through difficult times with her innovative digital marketing strategies.
Ladies and gentlemen, viewers, welcome to yet another episode of Leadership Matters. And today we have an award-winning. Sonali, you recently won an award for rising leader, a rapidly rising leader. Rising so high that recently she just came back from an Everest base camp. Sonali Singh, very happy to have you here. It's going to be a very interesting conversation because I was talking to Sonali just a few moments ago. Phenomenal energy. Hi, Sonali, how are you doing?
Hi, Avinash. Thank you very much for the lovely introduction. And I'm very delighted about the award. And I thanks White Page for considering that. And it's really an honor to be here. Let's get started.
What about the rising part? What is this Everest? Could you tell us a little bit about that? What is you were at the
Sure.
Everest base camp?
Yes. So I did this trek very recently, and it was about 15 days trek. So as you know, Everest lies into the mountains in Khumbu Valley in Nepal. So for me, it was more of a dream which I wanted to do from last couple of years. But due to the paucity of time and transitions and various other things, I could not do that. But it was a good time. So I took a birthday vacation to do this.
Oh, happy birthday. When was
it was on 28th April.
Okay, lovely. Wish you a very belated happy birthday, and may you keep rising. And you're adventurous person. Right? I heard that you also do marathon. Is that for Tata or what?
Yes, I'm big time into marathons. So I started it more of a practice to keep myself physically fit. But later on, it became more of a stress buster and a mandate, like at least 2-3 times in a week, I need to get on my marathon do's and on the. So I'm a long distance runner. Lately, I did the Tata Marathon, yes, in January. So I did full marathon. It was my first full marathon, 42 kilometers, and it was really amazing. The experience was really great. It was difficult because I was a half marathon practitioner. I did not practice the full marathon before attempting on the D-Day. But it was lovely, the energy and the vibe of the runners. It could motivate me to complete it. So I would want to do more of triathlons. I want to do ultra runs. So that's what I planned down the year.
Why? Why do you do it? What does it give you?
Okay, so it sort of helped me to keep my mental energy very high.
Amazing.
Viewers, routine.
Yeah, I'm just sorry for interrupting you, Sonali. Viewers, we got 3 messages already. Number 1 is go after your dream, even if it is the Everest. Don't let anything stop you. Number 2, we got that doing this physical activity regularly can give you a high and can be a stress buster by itself. And number three, the physiology affects psychology, psychology affects physiology. So it can, being physically fit can keep you mentally fit. Three messages right away. Thanks, Sonali. Go ahead.
So absolutely, very well put up, Avinash. So in day to day, in a marketeer's life, there are a lot of monotonies. Like you need to interact with so many stakeholders, whether it is internal, whether it is external. So you have to have your motivation very high
Sure.
because you have to keep innovating. You have to keep your creativity very high. So for that, you need some excitement to be going around in your brain, for that thoughts to come, for that thinking process to be very, very dynamic. So that's how I work. Like until I imagine five things, I can't think of taking on a campaign, because that's what we are supposed to bring. Newness. We are supposed to like present the product in a fashion which is not done before.
Sure.
That's what my job demands for. So
Sure.
how do I do it? If I would end up doing the same things every day and have a same routine in day to day, I can't do it until I break that monotony. So
Brilliant, brilliant. So
marathon,
does this involve taking risk?
yes, definitely, Avinash. So, see, there are a lot of choices in terms of what consumer have today. For example, if you want to go to buy a new toothpaste, let's say,
Right.
so you will have multiple choices. Now, how as a brand I develop that share of mind for you to pick me up particularly? So I have to grab your mind share. Now, how do I create that particular communication so that you go for my brand only? Now that's the
Right.
challenge. So until I involve some risk, until I create a imagery which is very, very differentiated from others, you will
Mm.
not take a note of me. So
Mm.
in today's world, for a brand, it is very difficult to get that eyeball or a mind share from a consumer, because there
Sure.
are thousands of choices and choices have further choices. So that's, I feel, at some point we need to be a risk taker. That's how all the concepts of, you would have seen aggressive guerrilla marketing between brands such as Coke and Pepsi, or whether it is Apple or Samsung copying Apple imagery or creativity into their advertisements. So that's why they do it, because they need to fit into the consumer's mindset in a best possible way.
Can you share some examples, Sonali, of how you've done this at your workplace, or maybe any of the organizations you work with, which you've been involved in? It'll be fun to know this idea of taking risk, differentiating to stand out in a cluttered Niagara of information.
So I would take up example of my previous brand Bosch. So with Bosch, I was with the appliances division, and
Uh-huh.
we were creating the marketing story to create the tonality and positioning for the dishwashers category. So what we arrived, like in everyday household, there are a lot of banters which happen, whether it is between husband wife, whether it is between a mother-in-law and a daughter-in-law. So we picked up those nuances and we picked up those facets, and our campaign was totally based upon that.
Mhm.
And in a way, I would say that the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law story was the that got the maximum views and clicks. So we could bang on into creating that narrative of
Uh-huh.
how the dishwasher can fit into the kitchen, how the new appliance need is there.
Right,
So
right. Lovely.
these are some of the examples which I can
Super,
think of.
super, super, super. Sonali says, be different. Huh? If you want to be noticed, you got to be different. Sonali, Bosch. What is the other one? Tata Motors. You are with. Then what are some of the other companies you worked with? You guys heard it a
I
little while
also
ago.
worked with consulting, which was Deloitte, which was very
Ah,
different
Deloitte.
how my rest of the experiences were.
Okay, okay, okay. And which is the other one that you were involved with? There's Deloitte, there's Bosch. I think there was Siemens
Panasonic.
also. Siemens.
Panasonic. Yeah.
Panasonic, wow. So these are amazing brands, and you've been in the field of branding with all of these brands. So tell me something about personal branding, please. Within an organization, should an entrepreneur be developed mindset, and should you brand yourself? So, for example, your boss, would he be delighted with you? I'm just kidding. Or would he say Tata to you based on your branding? Should you brand yourself within the organization?
Yes, it's very, very important in date of today. Like I said, you have to bring a recall for your personality also,
Uh,
so that your counterparts, your seniors, or even your juniors, they can look at you for relying upon you, or
sure.
taking inspiration from you. Because see, every day in corporate or at work is more of a problem solving, or a task
Absolutely.
solving, or a solution giver.
Right.
So you
So,
have to play those multiple roles, and you have to wear different hats.
right.
Sometimes you have to act like a friend, sometimes you also have to act like a parent, sometimes you have to own whatever you are doing. So I think it's very important to have your own personal branding, so that you can be established in a way into an individual mindset. Okay, I can rely upon Sonali if I have this particular challenge, or she will support me, she will guide me with the best examples, or with her experience she can tell me what is best fitting into this situation. So because these are everyday situations, and we all need somebody who can be a problem solver for us.
I think this
So
is
I want to
brilliant.
be someone like that.
This is brilliant. You want to be someone like that? You are someone like that, I'm sure. Okay.
Yes.
Sonali, what you just said is brilliant because I get one line out of it. No, the line is this, that build your personal brand, or personal branding helps to develop trust.
Yes.
And Stephen Covey said trust is like a lubricant. No, it increases the speed of business. So your speed of problem solving on a day-to-day basis happens much better when there is a trust, and the trust happens much better when there is personal branding. A beautiful, powerful insight, Sonali. Superb. That's great. Tell me something about your background, please. Where do you? What's your Meerut is where you come from originally?
Yes, I come from a small town, Meerut, but I am from a very dynamic family background. My father served into Indian police for more than 40 years, and now my brother is serving for Indian Army. So what I have seen at home is a very dynamic environment. It's been all in all very great learning during my childhood, like fitting into new environments, planning your own routine, getting into places where you have not been earlier, you have not even imagined. So whether it is climate wise, whether it is weather wise, or into your social networks, you will be thrown multiple scenarios, but how you go along well with it, that's what I learned from my immediate family. And it's very interesting because I apply those learnings into my work life also.
Like what?
It
Like what?
helps me to understand,
Like
like
what?
if there is a particular product which we are offering to a rural segment and to the urban segment, so I can differentiate, okay, this is how the person's mindset will be. Or let's say a city geography or a landscape of a tier 2 or a tier 3 city, so I can understand that very well because I have worked and I've lived with those
Mm.
individuals. So it becomes easier for me to understand. I don't need to go and do that immediate Reiki because that's already innate into my memory, and that helps me to, choose communication, work on the positioning lines. So it becomes all the more very easy with the
You know what you
memory
remind me of? You
things.
reminded me of the Slumdog Millionaire ka story. It's a similar kind of a narrative where the guy
Yes,
goes through so many experiences that he doesn't have to study the books to get the knowledge. He just has
yes,
to remember his own experience. You've gone through so many experiences with the transfers and with everything within your
yes,
family. uh,
yes,
that
yes,
now in your branding work, all you got to do is remember, "Arey, main to wahan thi," and then you bring
yes.
that out here. That's brilliant. That's fantastic. Also, it makes you more empathetic to other people. Does it make you more open?
Absolutely, it does makes you empathetic because sometimes, let's say you don't know, people don't know you, but
Right.
then if you have some correlation with the similar background of people, you can help them. You can understand better, like what is the
Sure.
requirement or is the kind of product solution you should offer to them. Especially in the B2B domain role, it does plays a very big difference
Mm.
because you can understand their needs and business requirements better.
Mhm. So it's so interesting because in branding and marketing, there are probably two or three elements that come together. One is your creative side, the storytelling and all that you spoke about, being different. The other part is your business side. It has to make business sense and it has to
Yes.
connect with the audience. How about this? Did your army brother and your police father uh, influence you in any way to be uh, any of their qualities, the aggressive or there's a very regimented, disciplined kind of a life that is supposed to lead.
Yes.
Not that they do always, because their time is not in their control. But any of that come into you, and does that help you at work?
Yes, definitely. I would say perseverance is something which it teaches you when you see a person, dedicating their routine and their life to service something for the country or something
Mm,
for an
mm,
organization. So you develop that okay, you can be contributing so much that you can forego your own choices or your own planning. Like I said, being a weekend, sometimes we have to contribute to work. So now that thing doesn't makes a difference to me, like okay, why I am working on a weekend, or why today's a holiday, why I'm going to an office. I don't question
right.
myself for that because I have always seen it in my household, and it doesn't makes a difference. I mean, it's becomes very easygoing.
Mm-hmm. Lovely. And discipline of an army person, has that come into your life or no?
Yes, it
How
does,
does that
and it
help in
does
your
help
creative
you.
field?
It does helps you in a big way because timelines is something for a marketeer is very important. Deliveries are more important than planning, because a planning phase can be very long, but then how you're delivering, what you're executing at the end point where your consumer is, what kind of an experience you're offering to your consumer, that's very important because we all are working for that similar goal. So deliveries and timeline commitments is what, that is the first thing I would go back into my calculation and do that. And of course I have learned that at home because every time, for example, an army individual, they will have some goal in their mind,
Right,
or they will
right,
have a project ongoing. So they
right.
will be very organized in their thoughts, in their approach.
Mm.
Like they would similar things in a similar place. They would have slots for thinking days
The
time, and then they will have
compartmentalization there.
physical fitness compartment. So bucketing your day into
Okay,
different
right.
activities is what I learned from their life. And that's how I can plan, because even doing a run or a marathon, it takes a lot of time and your energy. You have to plan, but then if you bucket it well, you can master that and you can bring it into your routine. Otherwise, we can let it go. We'll say okay, it's doesn't matter, we'll do it tomorrow, it's so much of time taking, let me just finish my work, it's more important. But then no, it's hand in hand. I would be able to do my work better if I perform that activity. So that's how I
Brilliant.
club things and details in
Lovely, lovely,
my
lovely,
life.
lovely,
Becomes
lovely.
very easy.
Rapid fire, okay? Very
Yeah,
quickly. Whatever comes to my mind, I ask you, you tell me. Huh?
sure.
Emotional or logical, Sonali?
Emotional.
Okay. Spontaneous or structured?
Spontaneous.
Uh,
Always.
what kind of leader is Sonali? Does she give fear or does she give encouragement? Does she control or does she direct? What kind of leader is Sonali?
I would say supportive and decision maker. Not at all. I mean, fearless. Not at all. Always a risk
You're
taker.
fearless. Huh.
Yes.
Okay. What's your concept of failure?
Very important. It is, I think success will not have any meaning if you don't undergo failures. And I love to undergo failures, and I have gone a lot of undergone a lot of failures in my life, whether it is at personal level or whether it is at work level. Sometimes, what you plan, it doesn't work out, so you have to have a plan B, plan C. So it has taught me that. So it's the success. I enjoy success more now because I know how failure is and how does it work.
You had enough of failure, huh? Both of you.
Yes, yes, always. Like I said,
Nice, nice.
risk taking will either lead you to success or either it will lead you to failure. There will be
That's
nothing
right.
in the middle. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And what role does luck play?
Sorry, come again.
Luck.
Uh,
Luck.
it does play a role, but I would say maybe not more than 20 to 30%. Because if you're doing the right things, let's say if you're doing 80% of the right things, so luck will follow you in that 20%. It will fill up that space on its own.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to attract that.
What
How you're
stresses
attracting is through your hard work, through your energy, uh, through your positive thinking. That's how you can attract luck. It doesn't happen on
Lovely.
its own. I have not seen any such thing happening on its own.
Fantastic. What stresses you out?
Oh, the task list, to-do
I see.
list.
So what do you do for de-stressing? Run
I do
marathon?
run.
Yeah,
Yes,
with
yes.
the task list or what?
No, not
No,
with the
I'm
task
joking. I'm
list.
joking. I'm
So,
kidding.
like,
I'm kidding.
I like to take up one task at a time. So, a task list is something which shouldn't exist. I mean, you should turn it out and turn around it, and you should do it something like in auto mode. Like first and last out, something like that kind of a concept.
Interesting. It's very, very interesting because you are talking structured, then you're talking spontaneous. Then you say you're naturally
Yeah.
spontaneous, but you have to be structured because you have that thing from the army background and the father thing. So it's very, very interesting, and I love your energy. It's superb. So you know what I did, Sonali? I put it all together in an acronym. What I usually do is put all the lyrics together in a little summary. I'm going to share it with you, and you tell me if you like it and you want to add something to it. All right? You want to write it down?
Sure.
It's very interesting. You want to write it down? It's good if you have pen paper or no, or do you have a
I
laptop or a
can
phone or
note
something?
in my mobile. I can take
Lovely,
a note
lovely.
in my.
Yeah. Make a note on your mobile. That'll be nice. Huh?
Yeah.
So I got an acronym for Sonali. Sonali.
Okay,
Right?
great.
Huh? See,
Yeah.
this is apart, viewers. This is apart from all the messages already given, no, about the psychology affecting physiology, about taking a break, about risk taking, about being open to change. All those things we've already said. This is
Yes.
like putting it all together. Where S would be um, uh, follow some schedule, or have some structure in life. You should, or have a system. Esco, ya to you call it structure or schedule or system. In this, we say,
Mhm.
don't say luck it, just bucket. Huh? I mean, bucket things, compartmentalize. Don't be overwhelmed. Have a list, break it down into, you have big goals, break it down into small goals. No, don't get overwhelmed with anything. Learn from Sonali's father and brother and Sonali that you can break it down into structured
Yeah.
things. So this there's a saying, but it's a very Western saying, and that's why they do this. They say, "How do you eat an elephant?" Huh? Only an American would think of eating an elephant. Huh? I don't recommend it, but the answer is one bite at a time. Huh? But look, even
Yeah.
if it's a very big task, break it down, chunk it
Yes.
down. So bucket.
Chunk it
Huh?
up.
Right. That's your S, schedule, structure, right? But I would put another S in the S, is that schedule with system for spontaneity. All the S's. Huh? So if you look at Sonali, there is enough spontaneity in her life, in her way of talking, but still there is schedule. So there has to be both
Yes.
in some way, right? Now,
Absolutely.
O. O is, I would say, open minded.
Yes.
You have to be open-minded. You cannot be too rigid in your thinking. Your structure is only a system for you to build speed, and for you not to get stressed. That is a structure. But your open-mindedness should be above everything else. And your open-mindedness is in two areas broadly, which is very, very interesting. Normally, people say open-mindedness is to learn something. Right now, what I got from you, Sonali, is open-mindedness for two different things. One is put yourself in so many different experiences that those experiences give you some learnings that remain with you and allow you to have empathy towards a great variety of people. Because today the consumers can be from anywhere in the world. While the world is becoming globally a village, till now marketing and branding is very specific to each individual. With the AI and with the data and all this coming in, you have to target individuals practically. So you have to have a very high degree of empathy, which can only come from an openness to travel, to experience. Then you get more. This beautiful, this very, very powerful, very unique thing, Sonali, that you brought out. The second unique thing, one of the most unique things today, is be open to giving. I don't know, ये कहाँ से आया? I think you spoke about it. Uh, Ownership, even on a Saturday, to do more than what is required, because that is nothing compared to, let's say, what an army person does at the border, what a policeman does for our country. Okay, they don't
Yes.
look at the time. They don't look at how much am I getting paid.
Yes.
You got to give, and having that openness to give is a powerful force multiplier that will make you get, because you're adding value. You will get. This is one of the most powerful lessons, Sonali, that came out from this. Do you agree?
Yes, I do agree.
Lovely.
Absolutely. Hang on.
N is N is natural narrator. You're a storyteller, Sonali. Huh? I was listening to you. You know what lovely stories. Huh? If I don't even talk and just let you go, you can go on for a half hour, 1 hour, I'm sure,
Yes.
huh? With very interesting stories. Huh? And life.
Thank
And
you.
today, one of the most important skills of a leader is storytelling. To being able to weave everything into a beautiful story, and for marketing, branding, of course, but even for leadership. Beautiful. A of Sonali is adventurous. That's where the risk taking comes in. That's where the openness to change comes in. Not being rigid and stuck, but going with the flow like water. Adventurous, and having the courage to take risk and being open to fail, not liking it. That's why keeping on doing until you succeed. Beautiful.
Yes.
Next, क्या है? What is the next one? SONAL.
L.
L. L is learner. Not traditional bookish learner, but learner from life. Learner from every experience of life. I love the way you said that, everything that you've done has helped you in something else. It's like Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs came to India, he learned meditation, and he brought that idea of simplicity into his iPhone. Yeah. He learned calligraphy and he brought that into the font over there. Yeah. So you don't know
Yes.
where you learn what and where it will be applied. Lovely.
Absolutely.
And I would say probably there's an element of adaptation or adaptive learner. Learner, this is what's come out from your thing, Sonali, your stories. And the I would say is innovator. Innovator is always trying something new and delivering impact, because finally it's about results, as you said beautifully. Baki sab theek, everything else is okay, but finally it's about delivering result. Your delivery is what people will see. All the other things are the things that go into the delivery, but what people will judge you by or will benefit from is the impact or the innovation that you bring out. That innovation that makes an impact. That is the I. How do you like it?
Very, very innovative. I loved it totally. From S to I.
Yeah, does it cover who you are?
Thorough. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and some of the lessons. Yeah, Lovely,
Yes,
lovely,
yes.
lovely. Great, great. Anything else you'd like to say, Sonali, before we say bye?
No, I think there's one thought and one saying which I follow at times. It is
Please.
like, if you touch the ground, you will always go up. So at times I believe in that.
Okay, that's nice. Lovely, lovely. So you say have a firm foundation so that you can fly, right? Huh?
Yes, yes,
Or keep yourself grounded and humble.
yes,
You know,
grounded.
yeah. You can keep your head in the clouds, but keep your feet on the ground.
Yes, yes.
You'll have to have a very tall body for that, but that's fantastic. That's what stretching is all about. Lovely, Sonali. Great, great chatting with you. I wish you all the very best.
Thank you, Avinash. Lovely
Thank you.
chatting.
Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Bye bye.